信用していいのか？
ドライアドはジュラの大森林の管理者。不届きな者、森に対し害意を持つ者に対し天罰を下す存在とも言われています。
天罰か。
What's going on, everybody? It's your boy, the Mr. Fox, back in the house, and you know what time it is. It's time for that time I got reincarnated as a slime, episode 12, and all I gotta say is the MVP award for this week goes to my boy, Soe. Give the man a round of applause. Soe, MVP of this week. Doing a great job, buddy. I like your character. I like your respect for our boy Rimuru. You ain't gonna have nobody disrespecting the man that you pledged the Lord to. I respect it. But things I don't respect is this idiot Garbaru. But we're gonna get into that. So, jumping straight into this week, we kick back off with Rimuru and company. They're in the conference room or the battle room, whatever you want to call it. And, you know, that's when the Dryer trainee, I can't pronounce her name for the life of me, dog, but forgive me, but her name is Trainee. She comes in, she was like, great Rimuru, monster, well, not, she didn't say monster tamer, but you know, she knows of his exploits. She's like, you know, you tamed the dire wolves, you got the ogres to join you and all that. She, you know, like, so, you know, we know about you. Can you please kill the, take down the Orc Lord? I mean, he didn't say it, but he was pretty much going to do it anyway. Also, probably the main plot, so it's gonna happen. But you know, seeing her coming out of nowhere, just asking, you know, everything, it caught everyone off guard, especially considering she just, you know, popped in like that. No, like she does apologize for her, you know, her random outburst, you know, like just popping. She's like, I'm sorry for popping in out of nowhere, but you know, this is pretty much like a dire situation. And as usual, but you know, as obvious as this could be, everyone in there is on edge. You know, Shion and Shuna and Benimaru step in front of Rimuru, like, you know, trying to protect their master. You know, good on them. And Benimaru steps up and he's like, you know, that's a very selfish request for someone who just popped in out of nowhere. And he's like, you know, there are plenty of races stronger than goblins. And Trainee's like, yeah, that's true. She said maybe if the ogres were at full strength, I would have went to them. And I feel like that was kind of a sharp jab, like maybe if you've been on top of your game, I'd be having this conversation at your house, but we not now, are we? But I like her. She's very shrewd. I'll give her that. She is shrewd, but that's because she's a Dryad. But anywho, she's like even if I would have gone to the ogres, there's still no way I can ignore the presence of this individual. She's talking about Rimuru, because obviously him and since he absorbed Veldor, he has Veldor's aura and, you know, presence about him. Even though when you look at him, all you see is a slime, or you see him oh my goodness, I forgot. Forgive me, I forgot her name. Oh goodness. Shoot, I don't deserve to live! Ah! Okay. I can't remember her name. I'm sorry. It's terrible. I hate myself for this. But her pain point, she's like, even if y'all were at full strength, I can't ignore the fact that he is here. Obviously, he gives off a presence. And long story short, Dryads, they're the caretakers of the forest of Jura, and they apparently know everything that's going on in the forest. So apparently, Trainee and whoever the other Dryads are, they know the whole situation with Rimuru, how he got his powers, how he, you know, everything. But Rimuru's like, he's like, can I think about this first? Because he's not stupid. He doesn't just jump headlong into a battle without having general information or a sound battle strategy. Unlike idiot boy Garbaru, hate him. But he's like, can I get some more? It's like, let me get some more information before I give you an answer. So they continue the meeting, and Trainee's there, and she's sitting in between Kaijin and Rigard. For some odd reason, well, I mean, not for some odd reason, everyone's on, those two particular are really on edge, and I think it's because one, she popped in without any, well, not, she popped in out of nowhere, and on top of that, she's a dryad, and apparently no one hardly ever sees them, or if they do see them, they don't mess with them. That's what I got. This wasn't said at all. So they're continuing the battle plan, and you know, he's like, what? And Rimuru was like, you know, what would the orc army want for them to come invade the forest like this? And that's when Shuna's like, I might have an idea of what they want. Then she talks to Soe. She's like, Soe, did you apparently she sent Soe on a mission to go investigate their village at some point. And Soe's like, yeah, I did, and I didn't find anything. And she's like, that's what I thought. And remember when everyone's confused, like, what do you, well, not everyone, but all the ogres know what she's talking about, but everyone else in the room was kind of in the dark. They're like, what are you talking about? And that's when Benimaru pops in. He's like, they didn't find any corpses of anyone at the village. No orc corpses, no ogre corpses. And this is when Traine pretty much pops in. She's like, it's because of their unique skill. So the orcs, well, the orc lord has a unique skill that he's able to pass on to his troops. And the skill is called Starved. Starved is pretty much like Predator, except whoever has the skill, I don't know if the orc lord is like this, but I know whoever, his troops, they have an insatiable hunger for power. And the way they get this power is the same way the Rimuru does. If after he kills something and he absorbs it, he gains whatever the target is, he gains their abilities and he gains their strength. That's the same thing that Starve does, except now their only thing they want to do is eat. They eat anything. They eat their own allies. They eat their prey, and they have this this ominous chant that I think is really creepy. They're like the strength of this comrade is now ours. The strength of this prey is now ours. And I'm like, that's creepy. So they eat. They're just like boars in real life. They're omnivorous. They don't care. They eat anything. And one of their comrades dies from exhaustion, they'll eat him and they'll take his strength. They're like, you know, pretty much thank you for the meal. And if they kill an enemy, after they're done battling, they'll go back and devour the body. Because Benimaru said he was wondering how an army of 200,000 strong is being kept fed, how they're being taken care of if they're always constantly marching. And that answers that question. I'm like, that's crazy, dog. And what surprising enough, Traine brought up the skill, but she also brings up it's just like your predator skill. Now to me, I was like, how does she know that? And I was like, and then again, I was like, and it also surprised me that no one else was kind of surprised about this, because I was like, do they know that he has this skill called Predator? Because I don't think he's ever just expressly brought that up, like, hey, you know, the skill that I use to get these abilities is called Predator. He might have off screen or something, I don't know. But, you know, that kind of threw me off a little bit. You know, and Rimuru was like, huh. He's like, alright. And he's pretty much like, okay, I see what we're dealing with. And then that's when Traine pretty much implores him, like, hey, will you please take down the Orc Lord? And he pretty much, like, Shuna and the rest of them pretty much agree for him, but not like for him. They're like, yeah, he can do it. You know, it ain't no problem for him. But I like Rimuru. He's like, yeah, I'm strong, but I'm not. He's like, I'm not gonna be cocky. Well, I'm not gonna just go in there like, yeah, I got this. It is what it is, man. I take anyone out. He's like, we gotta think about this. And you know, Traine's like, well, someone that has the power of Veldora has the ogres. As is the proprietor of the ogres. She's like, you have more than enough strength to do this. I believe so. I think we as the audience know that he can, but you know, I still don't want him to be just like a cocky idiot and just go in there strutting his stuff like a peacock and get his head blown smooth off or whatever. So, I mean, that ends that. Well, actually, no, that does. So after that, Rimuru agrees. He's like, okay, we'll do this. He said, but I'm going to need the help of the Lizardmen. And Soe, MVP of this week, chimes in. He's like, okay. He's like, hey, Master, would you let me go talk to the Lizard Chieftain personally? And he's like, you can do that? He's like, yeah. He's like, okay, cool, do that, thank you. And me, I was like, he almost sounded like he knew the chieftain like on a personal level. Like let me go over there, holla at my boy, and tell him what's up. And like, you know, we need your help, you know, and we, you know, straighten things out. So Soe goes to the village, and he goes to the lizardman's hideout or whatever, and he walks in there like a straight boss. No weapons, no none of that. He just walks straight in. They're like, chieftain, we got an intruder, and he's like, intruder. You know, Soe walks in, you know, just calm and collected as he always is, and he's like, you know, my master desires an alliance with you. And the lizardmen do this, you know, what is obvious. They're like, well, I've never heard of your master. One of them starts flapping them lips, and he's like, he said, your master probably just wants to side with us because he's scared of the Orc Lord. And at first the chieftain is like, hey, shut your mouth, because you know you obviously can't sense what's coming off of this dude. For this dude is this strong, and his master must be even stronger. And he's like, shut your mouth. And he's like, but chief, he's like, obviously these people are scared. And that's when Soe. Now this was a surprise to me. Soe not only has the body double or the Kagebushin technique, he also has Rimuru steel silk ability. Now my question is when Rimuru names monsters, do they get some of his skills that he is also able to use? So I'm wondering, like, we know Rimuru has the Armosaurus skill, the Black Spider skill, the Giant Centipede skill, and and there's one other monster. We know he has all those skills, and on top of the Black Lightning and the Black Flames from Shizue. I remember now. R.I.P. Shizue. You know, from Shizue and from Ifrit and other skills from Veldora. Now, since he named the ogres, and we clearly saw Soe use the steel silk ability. He almost took dude's head off. I wish he would have. But you know, the chieftain's a smart guy. He's not no idiot. He's been around the block. He's like, okay, I'm like, please stop. He's an idiot. You know, but this alliance benefits both of us, does it not? And so he's like, I will not allow anyone to mock my master. And I'm like, that's right. I was like, good on you, mate. I'm not Australian. I'm not Aussie. Never met an Aussie either. If I have any Aussies, hello. That's random. But so pretty much, long story short, the chief agrees. He's like, okay, yeah, we'll team up with you, because obviously we need help. And then that's when Soe tells him, he's like, okay, cool. He said, but no, the chieftain asked one condition. He's like, can I please meet your master? Obviously he wants to see who the person is in charge that can have such a powerful guy like this under his command, because he must just be like a beast, which he is. But Soe was like, okay, cool, that's fine. He said, we'll meet in 7 days, but under any circumstances, do not engage the Orc army until we get here. And he's like, okay, cool, that's fine. You know, saves us from having to waste some strength. I'm like, yes, it's a good battle plan. Now, cutting to my least favorite part of this whole one. Yeah, it pretty much is. No, it's one of my least favorite parts of the episode. We cut to Garbaru's idiot self, who's waking up from being knocked out by Go Better. Worthless. Well, not Go Better, but Garbaru, worthless piece of garbage that he is. So he wakes up. He makes up excuse. He's like, oh, obviously he thinks Go Better is the real leader because he beat him. He's like, oh, they use such trickery, and I'm just like, go die. Sorry, I hate Garbaru about as much as I hate Iyok from Iron Blooded Orphans season 2. Just can't stand them. I wouldn't be whatever. But when he wakes up, you know, he starts doing his little thing. His people start cheering him, and then we notice a new face in the crowd. At first, I thought it was Trippin'. I was like, has he been there the whole time? It's like, nah, he's obviously new. So the new character we get introduced to today, his name is Lapis. Well, Lapis. You can say Lapis from Steven Universe. For some reason, I want to say Lapis. It sounds better to me. And he plays a Garbaru for an idiot, like the idiot that he is. He's like, I come bearing a warning from Gelmud, that plague doctor. He's like, he has a warning. He's like, the Orc army is, you know, heading towards the Lizardman village. He's like, he's like, your dad's getting up there in age, he's getting old. And Garber was like, well, I had planned on taking over the village after the war was done. He said, but obviously I need to go ahead and take over now. And Lapice is like, yep, pretty much, go ahead. Obviously this is a ploy to screw Rimmeru's plans up and just to cause a ruckus and probably make it easier for the orcs to take down the lizardmen. Because Garberu is just, he's so narcissistic at this point that it's really detrimental to what needs to be done. So he goes home, he talks to his dad. He's like, hey dad, I heard you made an alliance. No, 4 days pass. That's how long apparently it takes him to get home. 4 days pass, he gets home. In that 4 days, the lizardmen have been doing what Rimuru told them. Just only focusing on defense. Don't send your troops out. Just make sure you keep the orcs out of where you stay and all that. They've been doing pretty well. Obviously, some people have a problem with this because it seems like the lizardmen, along with probably some other races, are really, really prideful. And I'm like, pride can get you killed, dog. So he gets home. He talks to his dad. He's like, hey, dad, I heard you've only been, keeping the orcs outside of the cave that they stay in. And he's like, that's pretty much like shameful. He's like, you're getting on in age. I thought you were a better man than this. And his dad tries to tell him, he's like, don't worry, in 3 more days we're going to have some very powerful allies join us. And Garberu's just not hearing it. He throws his dad in jail, and the guard that's attending him, we obviously probably knew it was his sister, but she says brother, therefore really confirming that my suspicion that's his daughter, that's Garberu's sister. He throws his father, his sister, and all of his leaders and the other clan leaders in jail. He rallies the other youngins in the clan, the idiots, and they go out and they fight the orc army. Now, they don't go out there and lose. They go out there and they do some damage, but you have to remember, just because when you take them down, you're really only giving them more strength. Because let's just say, you're out there and you take down one of the more powerful orcs. Okay, who cares? Because now the smaller, weaker ones are going to eat him and gain some of his abilities and his strength. Therefore, making up for the loss therefore making up for the loss of one big one. And fortifying their forces by making the other weaker ones a lot more harder to deal with. It's like, but obviously Garberu didn't know this. Garberu didn't take the time to learn that because Garberu's an idiot, and I hope he dies. No, seriously, I would not be remiss if he died. In the slightest, dude. I'm actually really, really waiting for it, and knowing my luck, it ain't gonna happen. So, and that's the episode. It ends off with Garberu narrating. Not Garberu, with Rimuru narrating. He's like, the lizardmen took down some orcs, but they didn't account for the fact that they have that unique skill, starved. And it's, like I said, starved is pretty much predator, except for the side effect that you are now just incredibly hungry all the time. And I'm assuming you will never stop being hungry until you die. That's pretty much like the only side effect. Other than that, it's predator with like a serious drawback. That's the episode. So like I said, shouts out to my boy Soe this week. He's MVP. The Dryer Trane, she's, like I said, she is shrewd. She's very astute, because we found out that the Dryers are the caretakers of the forest of Jura. And when Soe told the lizard chieftain that, they asked his master personally to take care of this, the lizard chief was like, okay, this dude must be a serious, well, not threat, but a serious force for them to come out and ask him for help personally. So, Garberu, I can't say enough. He's an idiot. He's an idiot. Just die. I hope he dies in the war. It'll make me so happy. But that's this week's episode. Tell me what you thought. Once again, for me, I loved it. I give the episode a 4 out of 5. I'm really, don't expect me to rate stuff, because my opinion is sometimes biased. But do all the stuff I know I'm telling you to do. Like, comment, subscribe. Hit that bell for notifications when I drop more videos. And with all that being said, it's your boy Fox, atoning for not remembering Shizue's name.
お詫びよう。許してやってもらえないかな。これは対等の申し出なのだろう。
失礼。脅すつもりはなかったが、主を愚弄されるのは好まれ。